Pathmonk is the intelligent tool for website lead generation. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in their buying journey separates you from the competition online. Pathmonk qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50%. Add Pathmonk to your website in seconds. Let the AI do all the work and get access to 50% more qualified leads while you keep doing marketing and sales as usual. Check us on pathmonk.com. To today's episode, let's talk about today's guest. We have Lauren Morley from OpenMetal, inbound and marketing automation specialist with them. How are you doing today, Lauren?
Good. Thank you so much for having me on here.
It's great to have you on. Excited to learn a little bit more about OpenMetal, and I'm sure our listeners are tuning in wondering what OpenMetal is all about. So let's kick it up with that, Lauren. In your own words, can you tell us a little bit more?
Yeah, definitely. So at the very top level, OpenMetal is a cloud infrastructure as a service company. So we purchase and maintain server hardware, and our customers can just use it, which takes a lot of the typical technology expense and maintenance off of their plates. But I think what makes OpenMetal cool is that we provide a hosted private cloud infrastructure that is actually based on OpenStack, which is a completely open source product. OpenStack has traditionally been both the most powerful cloud system in the world and also the most complicated to get running correctly, which really limit it to being used by, maybe like large enterprise teams. And our team has benefited a lot from open source software and OpenStack in particular. So we wanted to make it more accessible for smaller teams and even individuals. So from around 2019 onward, the team started developing ways to automate the deployment process and managed to get down from weeks to days and then eventually to under an hour. And actually then now using our platform, you can just click a few buttons and deploy a usable OpenStack cloud in 45 seconds, which I think is pretty awesome.
Definitely is. I mean, the way you mentioned, right, between weeks to seconds, definitely that's a great improvement. So awesome to hear that from you guys.
A little bit of time.
Yeah, definitely. And well, so that way our listeners can get a good understanding of your company then, Lauren, what would you say is that key problem that you guys have to solve for your clients then?
Yeah, so I would say thinking of our main customer base is usually like other technology companies, anyone who uses, cloud infrastructure. You have a lot of data to manage, really high performance application needs, companies that started out on public cloud and are looking at alternatives because that can get super expensive as you scale and doesn't, give a lot of businesses the flexibility and control you need. It's good when you're starting out. It's really easy to get started in. As you grow, maybe you need to do some things that aren't really offered in the public cloud, and all of a sudden you're paying a lot for the privilege as well. So we basically give our clients a private cloud on completely dedicated server hardware. You get full root access, and you can pretty much configure everything exactly as you want. There's actually no baked in licensing fees since the platform runs on OpenStack or open source technologies. So you get better performance, hardware utilization, since the servers are only used by you and, not shared with any other tenants. And the costs are typically, we've seen anywhere from 30 to even 70% lower than what the companies were paying with the big public clouds. So yeah, we're really, providing a better cloud infrastructure for most business use cases and then saving them a bunch of money at the same time.
Definitely. All right. Great to hear that. And you were mentioning a couple of industry SaaS providers hosting in public and some managed IT services. Would those be your ideal ICPs, or is there maybe another industry that you guys like to go?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, really, we can serve just about anyone. Like I said, it really just depends on if you're a heavy, you have heavy data needs, big workloads, software engineering, software development, another big one. We've even worked with a lot of colleges and higher education too, who need to, teaching a lot of people who are just learning OpenStack or using our platform, since it's, super easy just to pop up, the production environment, and all of a sudden you're working in OpenStack.
All right, perfect. Great to hear that. And so then how would somebody then usually find out about OpenMetal? Is there a top client acquisition channel for you guys?
Yeah, so I would say we've only officially been a company for a couple of years. We're still kind of in that, startup mode. We've been really mostly focused on improving our organic reach and trying to keep, the customer acquisition costs low while still growing the brand awareness. So definitely by far our biggest acquisition channel right now is organic. We've built a ton of content, Our engineering team has built a lot of documentation, like operators manuals. So you can go from not knowing really anything about OpenStack to learning how to operate your own cloud. So that stuff gets a lot of traffic. And of course, with all that stuff, we try to focus on, just being helpful to our community and making content that answers the questions or they have or problems they're trying to solve. And then aside from that, we're also a member of the Open Infra Foundation, which is kind of the main supporting body for OpenStack. And so we do get a lot of referral traffic from their website. And then, of course, we're also lucky to have, awesome clients who will refer OpenMetal. So word of mouth is always good for us too.
Yep, I think that for everyone, right? that's a big thing.
Kind of the one you want to have.
Yeah. Awesome. And so that way our listeners who are tuned in can go ahead and visit you. They can always check you out at openmetal.io. What role does the website then play for client acquisition, Lauren?
Yeah, our website is, huge. It's our pretty much top client acquisition point. So it's, definitely a huge point of focus for our team. Always looking for new ways to improve it, looking at, usage stats, finding out what, keywords people are finding us through, trying to improve the user experience and lead funnels, and ensure we have the info that people may be looking for. So it's definitely like an always on, always happening kind of thing. I don't think our website has stayed 100% the same for more than like a day or two at a time. We're always tweaking. Yeah. So honestly, that brings me to something that I think is like a strength and could be a weakness of ours. We're selling to usually a very technical audience, selling a very technical product, but people have different levels of experience in running a cloud, and not as many people have experience with like OpenStack or using open source products. So you kind of have to avoid the pitfall of wanting to just like word vomit onto the page and go into every single little, technical detail of the product and why you're so good and compare yourself to all these other things. So trying, to balance, how much information, being really transparent with what we offer and what we do, but also not, scaring people away with a massive wall of text at the same time.
Yeah. All right. Great. And so then on that note, is there any tools or tips or methods that you would recommend to our listeners as far as some website lead generation?
Yeah, I would say, it's super important, I think, to at least have one or two like really great offers on your website. One thing that we've done that we've had really good success with is doing free trials of the product. They can sign up, individual users, they get 3 deployments a month, 8 hours each. They can play around there and kind of learn the system and see if it's right for them, or just, keep learning on your own time. And then for, businesses, organizations, we'll do extended like 30-day free trials, which depending on the hardware can be up to like a $1,000 or $2,000 value. So, I think it's just something that makes sense for your offer. And it's like, wow, that's an insanely good deal.
Definitely agree. All right. Awesome. Great to hear that. Well, let's switch gears a little bit, Lauren, and let's talk about you as a leader there. What are some key tasks you like to focus on your day-to-day work?
Yeah, so I'd say my days are mostly spent either on the website or within HubSpot. So the website, I'm generally like building new content, like blogs or pages, reviewing user stats, or just optimizing things where I can. I'll help with like proofing and editing new content, adding calls to actions, internal links, SEO, all that fun stuff. And then I'm also our primary admin for HubSpot for OpenMetal. So every day I'm like looking at new contacts that have come in and enriching the profile info we have for them. I do a lot of automation. I love automation stuff with different internal like workflows and sequences for our sales team. I create our email drip campaigns, monthly newsletter, and then, kind of build assets for our website like forms, chat flows, and yeah, just pretty much, keep everything organized and kind of ensure we're taking advantage of all the features that are helpful. There's a lot of stuff in HubSpot, so always trying to stay up to date.
Definitely. I think you just mentioned it, right? Keeping everything organized. And that's a big task right there. And right. I mean, with all the new strategies that are coming out as far as some marketing information, there's a lot of overwhelming data out there. How do you stay up to date? Is there a preferred channel for you?
Yeah. Honestly, I would say it's mostly Reddit. Like I stay active in a lot of, the marketing subreddits and chat with people in there. And I feel like it's a really good way to just kind of stay up to date with, new changes and tactics. Usually people are posting like the new, Google changes or anything else big that's come out. So you can kind of stay up to date on the trends that way. You can, see what others are kind of struggling or excelling with, swap tip stories, and kind of learn all about the industry and commiserate all in one spot.
Okay, great to hear that. And well, let's jump into our next section here, Lauren, which is our rapid fire question rounds. Are you ready for them?
I'm ready and prepared.
All right. First off, then, Lauren, is what is the last book you read?
It was Tortured Souls by Clive Barker. So I'm a huge horror fan, and Hellraiser is one of my favorite movie series. So I thought I was ready for this book, but man, I almost threw up a few times reading it. Like, it was a great book, but I would never recommend it to anybody.
Definitely. All right. Great. Thanks.
Sure.
All right. So next up then is, what is one single thing that OpenMetal is focused on at the moment the most?
Oh, I would say it's probably figuring out what other like lead acquisition channels make sense for us. I feel like, we're a small team, don't have that much, budget to throw around. So we have to be very like thoughtful and intentional about what we're going to focus our attention on. And then making sure that we're also not, taking attention away from what we're currently working on and what's working for us.
Okay. Great to hear that. Next then is, if there would be no boundaries in technology, what would be that one thing that you want to have fixed for your role as a marketer today?
I would say if we could have like 100% perfect bot detection and prevention, that would be so nice. When you're running ads and stuff, you're like, how nice would it be if you could like know everybody who's clicking on your ad, is an actual human?
That would be amazing. I think we'll see what happens in the future, but that solves a lot of issues for a lot of companies.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. All right. And next then, I mean, you like automation, right? But is there one repetitive task that you could automate? What would that be, if there's something left?
I know. There's always something left. I would say it's another kind of HubSpot one, but I feel like I do spend a lot of time, and I'm sure a lot of us do, just like enriching, the contact profiles and information that we have for people. So, and HubSpot is pretty good at that. If you have a website and stuff, it'll grab like their location and then some other info about the company. But it's like, if I could just like flag the properties I wanted to define, and it could like scour the internet for me and just fill out all that stuff automatically, that would be nice.
That would be nice. All right, great. And well, lastly, Lauren, I mean, you have a lot of experience already, but what is one piece of advice that you would give yourself if you were to restart your journey as a marketer today?
Yeah, that's great. I would say probably focus on the strategy and like foundational knowledge more before getting, too deep into the execution, especially for me in my journey, because I didn't, have a formal marketing education. So I think in my early days, I would look at something and say like, oh, this is easy. I know how to use this platform. I'm sure I can quickly just like write an ad or whatever, and it'll do great. But yeah, of course, marketing performs best when there's like a lot of thought and data behind how something is executed upon, and need to understand so much stuff like, psychology, communication, positioning, market fluctuations. There's like so many little things that affect, whether someone is going to be interested in what you're selling. And, the end result looks simple to a lot of people from the outside, but there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that made it that way.
We're now right. Some great advice there for everybody. And well, Lauren, we are coming to the end of our episode today, but before we do end, I do want to give the last word. So if someone forgets everything about the interview today, what is that one thing they should remember about OpenMetal?
I would say come be impressed by our super cool technology. If you've never used, OpenStack before, or if, you've dabbled in it, but it was just, too difficult and threw it to the sideline, haven't touched it since, like, come try it out, come try a free trial and see how easy it is. And maybe it makes sense for your business and you can save a bunch of money and not be paying, Amazon and Jeff Bezos's next yacht.
Well, there you guys heard it from Lauren. You could always check them out at openmetal.io. Don't stick away from that traditional cloud. Go with OpenMetal, the private cloud as a service, modern cloud, transparent cost, no overruns. Lauren, thank you so much for being on with us today. To our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. And I'm looking forward to our next episode at Pathmonk Presents. Thanks a lot, Lauren.
Thank you so much.